Hello everybody, SlimKirby here. Welcome back to more of the Mario Kart 8 playthrough. This weekend we're going to be continuing on with more of the 150cc cups. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Today we're going to be focusing on the Star Cup and the Leaf Cup. As far as characters here, let's use one of the Koopalings. Maybe we'll make this a Koopaling weekend here. Let's use Lemmy, actually. We'll use Lemmy Koopa, the lightest of the Koopalings. Or at least he seems like he's the lightest of the Koopalings. We'll give him the Teddy Buggy just for fun. Retro Off-Road, let's see how this looks. Ooh, his speed's really low. Let's give him a little more speed, actually. Yeah, we'll give him the Slick Tires, and... you know what? He is a Koopa kid. Let's give him the Bowser glider. And yeah, we'll move on to the Star Cup. We have 4 more tracks here of varying degrees of excitement and non-excitement. I'll get into why when we get to them. And the first one we have is Sunshine Airport. Gotta admit, of all the airport tracks in video games, this is probably the best. But I also feel like this is also just the only one. But no, seriously, like, I do think this track is actually really cool. Just the idea of going through an airport, you know, going outside here, being like on a runway and stuff. And, you know, you have to avoid the plane, obviously, because planes are giant obstacles. It's kind of a unique little setup here. It's kind of a unique little setup, and I do appreciate that about this course. I feel like a lot of people do kind of, like, sleep on this course and just think, it's not that great. Or, you know, maybe people just aren't, like, really that good at it, so they don't really like racing on it, and that's fair. But I don't know. I think as far as, like, you know, being unique and stuff, that this is a pretty interesting track because, again, it's not something you see really too often. And, like, you can do this neat little shortcut here, if you have a mushroom, off the baggage claim, which is kind of neat. And it's also just kind of cool. It's kind of like, you know, it's in a way where it's like you start off in the airport, then you go out to the runway, drive around for a bit, and then, like, you end up at the baggage claim. So it's like almost like you left the airport and you're actually, like, it's... in a way, it's like you're actually doing, like, airplane travel. See, we're, like, on the runway for a bit. Now we're going to go for liftoff. We're in the sky now. We're flying around. We're doing our good thing. And then we start getting ready for the landing. It's... again, it's a unique, cool little setup. Wait, how did Donkey Kong... oh, no, I guess he got hit right there. I was like, wait, how did he avoid that blue shell? But I guess he had to have made it all the way to the ground, because otherwise they would have pulled him back up to the top of the ramp. I don't know, I won't question it. I won't question it, because Mario Kart is Mario Kart. Welcome to Mario Kart! Exactly. I will say the Star Cup does seem to have, like, some of the, like, most, like, varied types of tracks, it seems like. Just in terms of what they have to offer. Also, my god, that bullet bill actually could have stalled me right there. It didn't, but it could have. Because, yeah, whenever you get hit by lightning, if someone is in a bullet bill, they're not going to get affected by it, so... that could have been pretty significant, and as you can see, Pink Gold Peach did get 3rd place there, so... you know, that's something. As far as, Lemmy's rival, according to this, Lemmy's rival is Larry. Probably because a lot of people get those two confused with each other, so that's probably why. It seems like the Koopalings have, like, very interesting sets of rivals. Because, like, Larry and Lemmy are each other's rivals. Morton and Roy are each other's rivals for obvious reasons, because they're both, like, very similar, and they have pretty similar fights in Super Mario World. And then it's Ludwig and Iggy are rivals, and I'm guessing there it's because, I guess they look kind of like the crazy ones, so maybe they're the rivals because of that. And then Wendy doesn't have any Koopaling rivals, but her two rivals are the two princess characters. Which does work, because I assume there must be some jealousy there, but again, it's interesting to think about this rivals system and how it actually plays out. But yeah, I really didn't see Lemmy in that, or Larry in that last race, so maybe he got hit by a plane or something, I don't know. So yeah, this course, Dolphin Shoals, pretty interesting underwater track. Wouldn't say it's one of my favorites, though. And no, it's not because of the SlimKirby as a dolphin meme. That's not the reason. I don't know, there's just something... It's definitely a difficult track. And, you know, maybe you shouldn't, like, really be, like, judging tracks based on that sometimes, because, you know, obviously if you lose a bunch on a track, you're not going to have good feelings about that track, but you almost, in a sense, get, like, blindly biased because of that. When in reality, I do think this is a pretty cool looking track. Like, the design of it's really neat. But it's just not a track I enjoy racing on much. It just seems like whenever I do, like, there's just something that kind of, like, throws me off. Usually it's like getting hit by an item and then knocked off of a section, and then I just lose a lot of time and a lot of positions because of that. But I mean, that's also just Mario Kart in general. That can happen on any track. It just seems for me that it happens more often on this one than others. And that's just the way it is sometimes. But yeah, I think this part is, like, really cool. How you're kind of, like, boosting over, like, a coral reef or something. And then this part where you're freaking, like, riding on an eel. I think that's pretty cool, too. Something you can do only in video games. Frickin' riding on top of an eel. I think I actually used that super horn very well. Because I knew that banana was going to be an issue. So I was like, well, I'll just use a super horn on the banana. I don't see any shells coming, so... Ended up using that pretty effectively. Okay, Larry's in 4th place, so he's there. He's just kind of lagging behind Donkey Kong and Pink Gold Peach. Guys, I have to ask, why Pink Gold Peach? Why did that have to be a character? I am beyond baffled by that, if I'm being quite honest. We'll definitely use Pink Gold Peach at some point, but for now, let's just sigh at knowing that she's in our lives to begin with. So here we go, course number 3 for Star Cup. We have the Electrodrome. This course, like, what you see is pretty much what you get, but it is a really neat looking course. I think that the visual effects when you're doing these anti-gravity sections are pretty neat. And, I don't know, it's a very unique, futuristic looking course. I think Puddle Plains and, well, we had a couple of different nicknames for this. First one's not really a nickname, it's more of like a reference to, like, Ninja Turtles. Like, just Let's Kick Shell, because I think that was the name of, like, a level or something in the, TMNT4, the arcade game. So there's that. I know this was also called like Dubstep Drive or Dubstep Dome or something as well at one point. So yeah, definitely a lot of cool names for this track, a lot of cool nicknames you could come up with it. But yeah, pretty neat track. Probably my favorite of Star Cup, if I have to say. Yeah, I'd say it's probably my favorite. It's either this or Sunshine Airport, and I don't know. I think this one's just a little more unique, I guess. A little more cool looking, I guess. No, why did it have to be lightning? Why is it always lightning? Because it just is, Slim. Because it just is. Okay, so this is gonna be, I think, the last... Oh my god, Donkey Kong is still... Is that... Or is that Pink Gold Peach? That is Pink Gold Peach. Get out of here. No one wants you there. Or at least I don't, anyway. Oh yeah, I actually helped out Larry in that race. Oh god, no, 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 get to the end, get to the end. Thank you. Did not want to lose because of that. Did not want to lose. And hey, I screwed over Pink Gold Peach in that race too. Gave her a 4th place as opposed to a 2nd place. Or God forbid, even 1st place. Okay, what do we got next? We got... Oh right, Mount Wario. So we actually haven't seen any of these yet in this game. This is the first of not too many. Did Mario Kart 7 actually have more of these, or... I'll have to look at the count of this. But this is actually a section track, where basically instead of laps, you actually just have different checkpoints throughout the whole track because it's very, very long. So yeah, it's a very long track, and because of that, it's only one lap, and the laps are divided up into sections instead. They did this a couple of times in Mario Kart 7, namely with their Rainbow Road course, the Maka levels. And was that it? I feel like there was another one, but I can't think of it. But in this game, I'd say there's probably, like, at the very least, about the same number of them. Like, there's 3 I can think of at the top of my head that are like this. But there's also more tracks here, too, so it'd be a lower percentage anyway. Overall, like, I think this is a cool idea, just kind of having, like, a giant, like, snow, a snow ramp. Or not really a ramp, but, like, you know, whenever you go, like, skiing, you know, the ski slopes and stuff, whatnot. This is just, like, a giant ski slope all the way down, and there's, like, some cool little sections you go through, too. That's what makes this pretty unique and pretty neat. But it's definitely a really hard course to race on. Normally it is for me, because again, not having a consistent kart combination. Because I like to use the same thing over and over again, and that particular combination is not great for this track. But, you know, I feel like if I did have a better combination, this track would be a lot more fun to race on. And, like, even though it is a pretty long one-lap track, it just seems like a lot of the times with these section tracks, they just seem to come and go so quickly. So, like, you get to the point where you're at the end of the racetrack, and it's like, oh, it's over already? I didn't have time to get in first place. But in reality, you did have time. It's just you didn't do well and didn't capitalize on a whole lot of other sections. That's pretty much how Mario Kart goes, though. So yeah, here we go. We are hitting the ending here. I think we should be fine as long as no one gets a blue shell. We're still good. We're still good. Oh my god, Donkey Kong, I saw that. Tried to snipe away my victory at the very end. How could you? Well, hey, at least Larry Koopa got third place and beat Pink Gold Peach. Couldn't take second from Donkey Kong, though. You heard it here, folks. Lemmy's new rival is Donkey Kong. Okay, so that's another cup down. We are... Let's see, we have 3 out of... Wait, what is it? 10 cups? No, there's more than that. No, we're 5 out of 12 done. That's right. Had to think about it for a second. So we're not quite halfway done. We'll be halfway done after the next cup. But yeah, looks like Dolphin Shoals was the most exciting track. Which, yeah, there were a lot of things that happened on that one. So that was definitely a fun race. But we were still able to get a perfect score. We get a 3-star ranking because of that. And we get to move on to the next track, too. So, hooray for that. Like I said, we're going to keep on using the Koopalings today. This is a very Koopaling-like day, I guess you could say. And let's go more on the heavy side. Let's use my boy Morton Koopa Jr. Morton Koopa is actually the character I think I use the most, just because he does have... I want to say he does have, like, the highest top speed of all the Koopalings. And those are characters I kind of tend to, like, lean more towards, is the characters with really, really good top speed. So I definitely kind of enjoy using characters of that nature. Master Cycle Zero. I believe this is a Breath of the Wild themed vehicle, if I'm not mistaken. You know, based on the Master Sword, so this is a Zelda-themed bike. Or I could use the jet bike. And we'll save the Zelda stuff for Link later. So yeah, we'll use the jet bike. We'll use... I don't know if I want to use the metal tires. Let me look at the stats here. Let's give us some of the little more acceleration. So yeah, we'll go with the sponge tires. And I guess we'll just keep using the Bowser Kite, because we are using, again, Bowser characters here. And we're going to move on to the Leaf Cup this time. So let's take a look at these tracks, shall we? First track we have is from Mario Kart DS. And that track is none other than Wario Stadium. This is another track where having anti-gravity really changes things up, especially towards the end. But until that point, this course is pretty similar to its first rendition. But the anti-grav really, really kind of, you know, it definitely brings out a newer charm to it. Oh man, the drifting for this bike is definitely what I'm not used to. But yeah, normally when I play this game, I stick to using Morton with the Yoshi bike, Cyber Slick tires, and of course the Bowser glider, because the Bowser glider is cool. I don't know why it's cool, I just think it's cool. It makes sense considering all the Koopa-like characters you get to use this time around. But yeah, this part is definitely like very different than the normal ending to Wario Stadium in Mario Kart DS. Because yeah, there was no driving underwater in that game, so obviously it was a bit different, I suppose you could say. So yeah, for this bike, for the jet bike, you definitely want to start your turns, like, or at least for this combination anyway. I guess the tires could be making a bit of a difference too. But yeah, basically, start your turns a bit early. It's one of those bikes. Sometimes you just gotta get a feel for the, you know, the different vehicles you use and whatnot. So anyway, I guess a little small discussion for this particular video if you're interested. Basically, you know, since the Koopalings kind of returned in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, Nintendo has definitely tried using it a lot more, and I remember when this game came out, a lot of people were like, really, they had to have all 7 Koopalings as characters in this game? And, you know, I guess my question is, like, what do you think about the Koopalings being back? And, you know, how do you think they should be used in spin-off games? Honestly, when it comes to this game, I don't really mind as much, because I feel like the character itself, aside from, like, the small little, you know, different stats and stuff that you have, like, obviously some characters give you different stats and whatnot, so they're all different in that regard. But for the most part, like, I don't really mind it just because I feel like I don't really think about characters I use so much. Like, I mentioned how I use Morton Koopa a lot, but it's really just because, like, I kind of like the design of Morton Koopa in this game. But at the same time, I could literally use another character that has his exact stats, and it would make no difference. So, like, because of that, like, it doesn't really bother me that, like, all 7 characters are here, and they take up, like, 7 potential character spots from other characters. And much like that, like, you also have, like, Smash Bros., which Bowser Jr., him being in the game, also put the other 7 Koopalings in the game, because they're all, like, you know, alternate costumes of Bowser Jr. So they all just have, like, you know, Bowser Jr.'s moveset, and they all control like him. There's literally no difference to each Koopa, aside from, in this game, the small little differences to each stat and whatnot. Because I know there's a lot of people who were, like, bugged by the fact that the Koopalings were hogging, like, 7 spots in this game. But to me, it just doesn't really matter to me that much. Because, I mean, I did grow up with Super Mario Bros. 3 and Super Mario World, so I definitely have, like, nostalgia for the Koopalings, because, you know, they're the bosses of each of the worlds, so I have definitely some nostalgia there for them. But I also know there's just a lot of people out there who just think, well, they're just different-looking Koopas. Bowser Jr. could literally just do their same exact role and not be 7 characters. But I don't know. Kind of an interesting discussion, I guess. How you feel about the Koopalings showing up in spin-offs and whatnot. Anyway, Sherbet Land. I should not forget to mention this. This is Sherbet Land from Mario Kart Double Dash, and this is a huge improvement over the Mario Kart Double Dash variation. I just do not like the Mario Kart Double Dash version of this track. I think that it's, especially with the turning and the mechanics of that game, it's just a really, really rough track to play on. Here, they open it up a lot. They have some really cool underwater sections. The obstacles in this track are not as obnoxious as they are in the Double Dash. They just made this track a lot better, I think. It's a lot cooler, and it has, you know, it has a lot of charm to it because, you know, it has like an underwater section like this. Just a really, really neat track. Definitely the best snow track in this game. At least in my opinion. Mount Wario's kind of cool, I guess, but again, this is just a more fun track for me to race on because they did. I like when they bring a retro course back, and while it is still essentially the same course, like it's good that it has its like own spin on it too, to make it feel unique and make it feel different, despite the fact that you are racing on a retro course. That's what I really, really appreciate about some of these. And then we get to 3DS Music Park. If you guys remember, I said in the Mario Kart 7 playthrough that Music Park was probably my favorite track in Mario Kart 7. In Mario Kart 8, I don't know. there's something about this track that I don't really enjoy as much. I still think it looks cool. I still think it's a fun track to race on. But I don't know, I think it's just because there isn't a lot different here. I also feel like it is a little harder to race on this time around, but for the most part it's still the same track. It's like, not a lot changed from Mario Kart 7 to this track. And I think that's overall my problem with it, because again, we just talked about Sherbet Land, a track I really despised in Mario Kart Double Dash, but they made it better in this game. And, you know, they didn't make any changes to Music Park this time around, or didn't make as many changes, because it was a very recent track that didn't need a whole lot of updates. So because of that, I feel like because there aren't a lot of changes, maybe it's just a little more forgettable because it was used in 2 games back-to-back with seemingly no updates. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I like this track, but I just don't really enjoy it as much as I do in Mario Kart 7. I hope that makes sense. I think it is definitely just the fact that there isn't a lot different here. I mean, obviously there are anti-gravity sections, but I feel like they're used very minimally. Like, they're used kind of like right here, like on the sides here, which isn't really a lot different. I guess they also kind of use it, like, up here when you get to the... Ooh. Oh no! I'm stuck! They use it up here when you get to, like, the hang glider section. Okay, good. I was scared I was gonna get Mario Karted right there. Oh, sweet. Sweet. They'll get Mario Karted and not me! Come on, come on. Yes! I win, somehow! I'll take it. I am not going to complain about that. It's free first place points. Honestly, I guess that lightning came at a really good time then, because I guess I had more acceleration than King Boo, so I was able to get through that at the very end. Okay, so we have another N64 track. We have Leaf Cup Yoshi Valley. Fun fact, this is the second to last course to be remixed from Mario Kart 64. What I mean by this is that Wario Stadium from Mario Kart 64 is the only track that has not been in more than one Mario Kart game. And, like, I mean specifically the N64 variant. I think the reason why they didn't include it this time around was because, you know, they had the DS Wario Stadium. So they probably thought, well, we don't need 2 Wario Stadiums. Or 2 retro Wario Stadiums. Not that that stopped them, because they definitely had 3 Bowser Castles in some of the games, but... Still, like, I think that's kind of why they didn't use the N64 one yet. And again, they maybe just didn't have, like, any creative ideas for the Mario Kart 64 Stadium for this game. Maybe they were just kind of waiting for, like, you know, maybe the next Mario Kart game where they could make it, like, really, really, really cool, and it'd be the only track they used from Mario Kart 64. But yeah, again, it's interesting that, like, in every single Mario Kart game since Mario Kart DS, they've had 4 tracks. Oh shit, I almost just hurt myself right there. They've had 4 N64 tracks. They get to this game when they would be able to use all of them, and then they just used only 3. So now there's only just 1 course that still needs to be used from Mario Kart 64. And before you guys start correcting me, and before you start submitting your comments, Yes, I'm aware that I got it wrong. There are 4 tracks from Mario Kart 64 in this game. 3. There were only 3 in Mario Kart 7. I just mixed the 2 games up. My bad. But see, like, once they do that, they won't have to ever, like, reuse tracks from that game. Because, like, everything's had a retro redux at that point. But let's actually get into Yoshi Valley here, because I haven't really talked about this. I'm really glad this track is back. This was one of my favorite tracks from Mario Kart 64. And yeah, a lot of it is because of how unique it was then, with all these different paths and stuff, and how you couldn't actually tell who was in first place at sometimes. But still, just like the idea that, you know, you have like just this giant canyon with multiple paths. You know, you can kind of pick and choose your favorite path. It's just a really, really cool course, and I'm gonna get blue shelled. It's okay, because I guess everyone else got lightning, so I'm fine. I'm okay with that. As long as I still win, which I do. Hell yeah. So that's another perfect score. So yeah, I guess just the last video was the video where I struggled in getting perfect scores. Looks like I'm back to perfect form now. Also, man, Roy was Morton's rival, and look how far down he got in this series. Got frickin' 10th place, or was that 9th? I think it was 9th place. Still, though, bad performance. Very bad performance. So yeah, favorite track from the Leaf Cup? Honestly, probably this one. Probably Yoshi Valley. I just really, really like it. And honestly, as strange as it is to say, Music Park is probably my least favorite. I don't know. Because again, Sherbet Land was cool. What was the first one we raced on? It was a DS track. Wario Stadium. Actually, no. I think probably Wario Stadium is my least favorite from this one. Because again, I still enjoy Music Park. Just really disappointed it didn't do as much. Also, I like that trophy. How there's like an outline of Mario on the back, or Tanuki Mario. That's kind of cool, and it has like an actual tail too, which is kind of neat. But yeah, that's going to actually do it, because yeah, that was the Retro Course Cup, so we are done with this video. Thank you for watching, everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow when we take on the Special Cup and the Lightning Cup. I almost forgot what it was. So yeah, I'll see you guys then. Should be fun. We got some rainbow roads coming up. And yeah, I'll see you guys then. Later, folks.